tasya paradam abhidiyate purva parada prakrantro ya parodya pravartate yat, that which ardam, half, ayusha, of the duration of life, tasya, his, paradam, a parada, abhidiyate, is called, purva, the former, pararda, half of the duration of life, apakranta, having passed, he, certainly, apara, the latter, adya, in this millennium, pravartate, shall begin. Translation. The 100 years of Brahma's life are divided into two parts, the first half and the second half. The first half of the duration of Brahma's life is already over, and the second half is now current. Purport. Duration of 100 years in the life of Brahma has already been discussed in many places in this work, and it is described in Bhagavad Gita 8.17. Also, 50 years of the life of Brahma are already over, and 50 years are yet to be completed. Then for Brahma also, death is inevitable. Hare Krishna. So we'll just be speaking a little bit about Lord Brahma and about the different activities. There's also other auspicious occasions, anniversaries of auspicious occasions, the anniversary of the disappearance of Gadadhar Das Goswami and Dhananjaya Pandit and Srinivasacharya. All great gurus and acharyas in our line of gurus. But here we're talking about Lord Brahma, and this subject has been going for some time in this section of the Srimad Bhagavatam. How everyone lives for a certain amount of time, and it'll be it's all relative. An ant's life seems long to an ant, but in comparison to our life, it is very short. Mosquito, I think someone told me a long time ago that mosquitoes only live like for a couple of weeks or something like that. I'm not sure exactly, but but to them it is relative, and they're born and they live and so on and so forth, reproduce, so on and so forth, and to them it seems like a full life. And so you got from the other species of life, you come up to the human beings, and we know that in the Satya Yuga, the age, the first of the four ages, people lived 100,000 years, and then the next age, people lived 10,000 years, and the previous age to this one, people lived 1,000 years, and in this one it is said 100 years, and that's going down also. And at the end of this age, it's a prediction in the Bhagavatam in the 12th canto that if people live 20, 30, 40 years, they'll be considered old at that age. And so this is just the nature of the age. But here we're speaking about Lord Brahma. Now, above this earth, there are many other planetary systems. When on a cloudless night, you can look up, and if there's no moon especially, if it's dark, you can see all the stars. These are all the planetary systems in our universe. And there are millions of them. You can see them shining on a dark night. You can see the stars shining. Millions and millions and millions, and all different levels of them. And these are all planets. They're all residents in subtle forms, unbeknownst to man, and so on. And so there's different levels of them. And of course, at the top of the universe is Lord Brahma. Now, besides this universe, there's many other universes, unlimited amounts of universe. So this is the description here, and we'll go through this section of the Bhagavatam. Here it is said that Lord Brahma is already, now he lives for his 100 years, and Sahasra Yuga Payantam, the Bhagavad Gita is quoted here from the 817 Sahasra Yuga, 1,000 times the rotation of the four yugas is just the day of Brahma, and then again you get the 1,000 in the night of Brahma. So he lives trillions of our Earth years. Trillions. 311 trillion, 40, was it billion or something? 40 million Earth years mentioned there in the Bhagavad Gita by Prabhupada. So his life is just a fantastic duration. He has a form that's very subtle, cannot be seen with our eyes. He can make himself visible. We read many stories of Lord Brahma. He has his abode, as I said, in the Satyaloka, or the Brahmaloka, where he lives, at the top of the universe. He also has other abodes at the top of Mount Meru, just like any important person can live, has different houses. And so he has his planetary system. He lives there. He also lives at the top of Mount Meru, which goes up above the Svargaloka, along with other demigods. And also the Pushkara Dwipa, he has another abode there. There's a good description of all these abodes of Lord Brahma in the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So every now and again he's in the Satya, and then he goes to the other place, and then he can come and make himself visible. Now it is mentioned that Lord Brahma has a huge form. He rides on a swan. Somehow or other, these things are inconceivable to us. But his form is ethereal, so we can't see with our eyes, but he can manifest a form that we can see, and he can change sizes also. He can change size. He's got all powers, Lord Brahma, as the Devas have all powers. They can change size, they can change shape, they can change form. Their bodies, those cities they have, the mystic powers, they can do those types of things. So Lord Brahma, it is said that he is a huge form, and even his swan carrier is huge. There's one description in one of the Puranas that even the foot of the swan would cover the whole earth in its normal size. But when Lord Brahma, sometimes he comes here and manifests himself. We read in the different histories, he's come and seen different devotees. He reduces and he makes himself visible so they can see him. So there's all sorts of descriptions like this. So here, 100 years is our trillions of years. He's already lived half of his life, and now he's in the second half of his life. So his life goes for a long time, and at the end of his life, then there's a pralaya, there's a wind up of the universe, and the universe is going back into the form of the Garbhodaksha Vishnu and then the Mahavishnu in that way. And later on it's mentioned that all this is going on in just one breath of Mahavishnu. So even though Lord Brahma's life is such a long trillions of years, of our years, compared to the inconceivable eternality of the Mahavishnu, or Krishna in the form of Mahavishnu, when just in one, everything comes out in the breath of Mahavishnu, and then all these systems come out, and then breathes in again, all comes back in. And this is trillions and trillions and trillions of years of our earth years. So these are the descriptions given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. These are the descriptions given in the Vedas also. And so some may, of course, choose not to accept all that. And Prabhupada actually mentions those who don't accept the Supreme as formless. They think that material, there's personality, there's relationships, and these are the cause of frustrations and suffering. So spiritual must be the exact opposite of that. There's no relationships, there's no forms, there's no nothing, or there's two. There's nothingness, or there's effulgence, but there's no relationships, there's no forms, there's nothingness. So some are of that school, and certainly there's a spirituality where there is an effulgence, Brahman effulgence, but beyond that, there is the spiritual form of the Supreme Godhead Krishna, of Mahavishnu, and all sorts of things are going on. Today is a special day. We were over doing a special ceremony for the cows, the Gopastami, and this is told in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. There's a nice description of Gopastami where, the description is that Nanda Maharaj did a special ceremony. We did an arti, blew the conch, and we did an arti there, and we chanted Hare Krishna. Nanda Maharaj also did a very special ceremony where Lord Krishna, up to this point, goes into the Purganda age. Purganda age means from the 6 years on to 10, and then goes Kaishori like that. Kumara. Kaishori is first the beginning years, and then Puganda, then Kumara age, when he's a young youth. When he's a youth, he goes through those ages. So today marks the time when Krishna's gone into the 6th year. When he comes to this world, he does different pastimes. He's gone into his 6th year, and Nanda Maharaj does a ceremony. Everyone comes for that ceremony and is more or less kind of initiated to go from looking after the calves and to go, and he looks after the cows. And you kind of think about that, especially when we're looking at Shanti over there, that bullock over there. He stands like 2 meters high, just at his shoulder. So I think when you think of little Krishna going and looking after some cows and bullocks that high, it kind of like. I mean, the Mother Yasoda and the gopis were very concerned about Krishna walking, tending the cows and the calves just in his bare feet, because there's rocks and sometimes there's thorns. So they were concerned about that. And what to speak of looking after the cows. Of course, the cowherd men are there also, but they're given charge. And actually, Krishna and the cowherd boys they go to that stage. So today marks that anniversary of that day, and that's celebrated. And there's all sorts of descriptions where you do ceremonies. You do seva to the cows today, to the calves. We have a couple of small calves there, and we have, I don't know if there are any cows are here. We have the bullocks, isn't there? Any cows were there? Were there cows? I just think bullocks today, but anyway, so the cows are down the bottom. But so today is a very special day, and there's different pastimes. And just like this holy month of Kartik, I was giving a class in Brisbane. I was in Brisbane, and I was mentioning that Kartik month, Margashish. Now, Lord in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says of months of Margashish, I am November and December, his favorite month. Now, preceding is the month of Kartik, and actually, it is mentioned that it is the month of Srimati Radharani. For Gaudiya Vaishnavas, this month is the month to worship Srimati Radharani. Actually, her mother, Kiritida, and her father, Vrishabhanu. Now, Kiritida, at that time, a lot of the girls in Braja were named after Daksha's daughters. And one of the daughters of Daksha was known as Kirtiki, or Kirtika, which is another name of Kiritida. So she was actually named Kirtika, or sometimes she was called Kiritida. So Radharani's mother was Kiritida. So she was also called Kirtika, or Kirtiki. And Radharani was known as Kirtika, the daughter of Kirtiki. So actually, Kartik derives its name from Srimati Radharani. So this is a very special month to Srimati Radharani, because there's so many different auspicious leelas, especially at the start of the month. I was in India at the time where we had that Krishna Saradiya Rasa Yatra, where the full moon at the start of Kartik is a yellow color. And I was in Pune, and they decorated in front of the altar made a replica Vrindavan scene with all bushes and little rivers, and the gopis were there, and so on. It were very beautiful. So it is said at that time the people come and put pots of sweet rice, and under the full moon, under the yellow moon, and the sweet rice, it gets extra flavor. It's offered like that, and turns yellow, being influenced by the moon. So that is an ancient tradition. So that is at the start of the month. At the end of Kartik, there's another Ras Leela. So at the start, there's the dancing of Ras Leela with Radha and Krishna, and all the gopis are dancing. And at the end of the month, another Ras Leela. So it starts with the Ras Leela and ends with the Ras Leela. And in a few days' time, there's another Ras Leela, the end of the month, end of the Kartik month. So this is very, very pleasing to Srimati Radharani. In fact, actually on this day, Srimati Radharani, that Krishna had that ceremony. Now we could go and look after the cows, but he was missing Srimati Radharani. He was going to go out, and he told his cowherd friend Subal that I'm really missing Srimati Radharani. when we go out today, I'd really like to have her with me. And Subal said, today is meant for the boys who are looking after the cows. We go out together. Normally the girls don't come out today on these days. But Krishna said, no, I want her to be with me. So just think of a way to get her here without anyone knowing. So he went to he went there, and he was carrying this tiny little calf over towards Jatila's house, where Radharani was living, of course, and with Abhimanyu, and she was staying there, and she was missing Krishna, and she wanted to be with Krishna. So Subal devised this plan where he put down the calf just before he got there, and he twisted the tail so the calf would run off in a little bit of pain. So then he had to chase it. So then he chased it into where Radharani was, and the Jatila came out. What are you doing here? I know you're with that sneaky Krishna. What do you got scheming in that little mind of yours? No, I'm just here. Look, I'm chasing the calf, and the mother of the calf is crying out, so she's very upset. So I'm just trying to get the calf and bring it back to the mother. Jatila was a bit skeptical, but all right. But I don't think the calf's here, because there's a long way from where the calves usually are. But anyway, you can have a look. So then he went in. Subal went in. And he went into where Radharani was. And actually it is mentioned that Subal looks a lot like Radharani. And his golden complexion and even his facial features and his whole countenance and his bodily form is very much like Srimati Radharani. So he thought of a plan. He came in there, he said, Radharani, Krishna really wants you to go there. Why don't we just switch clothes, and I'll dress up as you and you dress up as me and you sneak out. And so Radharani thought it was a very good idea. So they did that. So he dressed up as Radharani and just sat inside the room. She dressed up as him, and then she went out looking exactly like Subal, and Jatila actually waved her off. All right, I told you your calf wasn't here. She went up and she went there, and she came to be with Krishna, who was just heading out. And Krishna said, and he thought it was Subal, and so Krishna was a bit disappointed. Oh, Subal, you weren't successful, and actually Radharani played on it, and she said, oh yeah, no, I wasn't. But if you like, she was always playing like kind of tricks with you. If you like, I can go fetch Chandravali. I can go fetch Chandravali to be with you. No, Krishna said, no, look, curd is not milk. When you're pining for milk, you're not going to be satisfied with curd. That was his words. All right, so then Radharani came over and embraced him. Oh, you don't recognize me? I'm actually Radharani. So then Krishna was very, very happy. So that's another story that's connected to when Krishna's going out looking after the cows today on the Gopastami day. So today you can go down and be with the cows and give them the grass. We had a nice ceremony there. But just the whole month is so beautiful. We had the Govardhana Puja, and we had also Diwali. And on Diwali, I was telling this story in Brisbane, on Diwali is when the actual day when Mother Jasoda bound little Krishna. It's mentioned that it happened on the Diwali day, which was just a few days ago. So there's a very wonderful Leela. There's books written about this particular Leela, that Mother Jasoda was, Krishna used to run off and steal the butter in other gopis' houses. And he would steal the butter and feed it to the monkeys. Now, in the Ram Leela, when Ram went to conquer over Ravan, he took the monkey warriors with him, and a lot of them sacrificed a lot and sacrificed their lives. So he said to them, in my next incarnation, I'll really look after you. You won't have any need or any want. So when he came back as Krishna, that's why he was always giving them butter. He was always giving them butter. And even now, there's an explanation by the Acharyas. Why did Krishna just not ask for the butter, and why did he steal it? So it was twofold. He wanted to give the butter to the monkeys, and a twofold was that he knew that the gopis had so much love for him. They had more love for him than even their own children, which is very, very unusual. Generally, mother and father love their children more than all others. But in Braj Leela, they loved little Krishna more than they couldn't understand it, but just it was within them. And so to increase that love, Krishna thought that if I just go there and ask, they'll be very happy. But if I actually go sneak in there and steal it, they'll think of me even more intensely and think about how that little Krishna came and stole that butter. And so they'll think of me more intensely. So the Acharyas explain there's a twofold reason. He wants to give the butter to the monkeys, and he wants to actually increase the intensity of feeling that the gopis. So the gopis would complain to Mother Yasoda that little naughty Krishna, he's coming over to our house and stealing the butter. So many of them came. And so externally they were complaining, but internally they were very, very happy. They were in ecstasy that Krishna came to their house and took the butter and was distributing it and actually made a mess. You know, sometimes he would break the pot and he would distribute it. And then, you know, monkeys, they just throw things around. And so they would make a whole mess there. So they would complain. So Mother Yasoda was very upset. But internally they were very happy. So, but Mother Yasoda, she was thinking, she was very upset about all those complaints. But she was thinking, why does Krishna go over there? Maybe the butter is better over there. Maybe the butter is better over there. Maybe I'll make better butter over here. And she kept some special cows aside, fed them very special flavoured grass so that the milk would be more flavoursome. And then from the milk, the yogurt comes, and then she would churn that yogurt from those cows' milk and then make the butter. So there's a whole description of that. This happened, Yasoda, Damodar. Damodar, of course, we're having the whole Kartik month, the whole Damodar month. Dama means rope, and Udara means abdomen. So when Mother Yasoda ties the rope to the abdomen of Krishna. And so she was churning. Now, interestingly enough, Prabhupada comments on this. When she was churning the yogurt to turn into butter, she would compose poetry and sing songs to that poetry about little Krishna, about all the activities. And Prabhupada actually mentions in the ancient times that people that would be some part of the entertainment of the family. They would write poetry, or if they didn't know how to write poetry, they get someone in who was a poet to write poetry about their different activities of the family, and they would tell stories about that, and they would sing it. But Mother Yasoda was so expert. She's one of these personalities, just like Srimati Radharani. Whatever she did, she did it perfectly, better than everybody else. Whatever she did, she could do so many things, and whatever those things she did, just perfection. So Radharani was like that, Mother Yasoda was like that. So as she was churning the butter, she was singing the poetry that she had herself composed about Krishna. So Prabhupada actually comments that we should follow in the footsteps of we can't be Mother Yasoda or Srimati Radharani, but we follow the footsteps how we're just singing about Krishna, doing so many different activities, and whatever we're doing, we're also thinking about, we can do it, even singing about Krishna. If you're at work, you can't sing out, at least in your head you can sing. So it's a very wonderful Leela, of course. Then Krishna was hungry, came and drank the milk from Mother Yasoda's breast, but then the milk was overflowing on the stove. The whole story about the milk on the stove too. We haven't got time to tell that story. But everything is conscious in Braj Leela. And so Krishna, then she put Krishna down, and he became a little angry. He went to the next room. He broke that pot of yogurt, and he went to the next room. And then Mother Yasoda tried to discipline him and catch him, but he couldn't be caught. And then he finally agreed that she could catch him, and then she wanted to tie him up to a mortar there to keep him out of mischief. And then, but she couldn't tie the 2 fingers too short, which means the endeavor of the living entity and the Krishna's mercy. And so many ropes that were brought couldn't tie little Krishna. Everyone was thinking maybe some bhutas are making some illusion here. They couldn't understand it. But finally, she tied little Krishna. And then, an interesting story, I'll just finish with this one, because this is a very funny story, that Lord Balaram was away that day with his mother, Rohini. As he just about got home again, someone had told him that little Krishna was tied up. So he became very angry. Who has the audacity to tie up my brother, Krishna? I'm going to find out who that person is. I'm going to punish them just like I punished the Asuras when they come here to try to kill Krishna. So when he went closer and closer, he saw little Krishna tied up, but someone just whispered in his ear, Mother Yasoda, she tied Krishna up. Then he stopped. And Krishna was calling out to him and said, "Brother, untie me. Look what's happened to me. Please untie me." So Balaram just stopped and said, Krishna, Mother Yasoda has tied you up. I don't think I can do anything. And so then Krishna said, "No, you have to do something. I can't remain tied up." Krishna was playing on it. "You have to do something." So Balaram said, "All right, I'll go talk to her." And so Krishna, "Yes, go talk to her." So Balaram went to talk to Mother Yasoda. She had gone and was busy in household chores. And so Balaram came there and he said, "You shouldn't have tied Krishna up. Do you know who he is?" "Oh, no, who is he, Mother Yasoda? Who is he?" And Balaram said, "He is the supreme Godhead. From all universes have come." And Mother says, "Oh, he is one of the supreme, he's like a god, is he? Then who are you?" And Balaram said, "Well, I'm the first expansion of Krishna, that from me come all the Vishnus and I maintain." "Oh, you're another god. Krishna's a god and you're a god." "Well, I think that I'm very busy here and I think, I don't know why all the gods have come to my house and disturbing me here. Haven't they got better things to do?" That's what she said. "Haven't they got better things to do?" And said, "Look, now you're starting to annoy me." And she picked up a little stick and said, "You better get out of here or you're going to suffer the same fate as Krishna." So then Balaram ran back to Krishna. Of course, Krishna was overhearing all this. In the beginning, he was thinking, he's talking to her. He's going to convince her. But then Balaram ran back and said, "Krishna, you're on your own. I can't do anything." So that's another story connected. So many different pastimes today. And so devotees are always in ecstasy having these types of functions. So Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Jai Gopashtami ki Jai. Go Premanandi Hari Hari Bo.